All right, so if you're anything like most of our CMX2 users, you have a lot of presets, and that's because they're very easy to make using CMX2. You can extract palettes from anything you find online, from pictures you take on your phone, from old photos of your own. Literally, if you can put it in Photoshop, you can extract the color palette off it. So we all have fun collecting these things, often because we use them back and forth a lot, or just to have it tucked away, just in case. Now, if you do have a lot of presets, or even just a handful, you probably know anyway. For example, we'll start with this one called Aladdin. If I double click it, you probably know that it applies it. And once it applies it, you see the CMX2 folder with the name Aladdin, because that's the preset name. If I go back to the Explore tab, you can see it's been sort of loaded into the main UI. So I can tweak it from here if I want. Cool. Now, if I go while selected on Aladdin, if I choose another preset like Painted Desert, I double click there, it replaces it, which is what we want because that's how we explore it. Well, I went back to the Explore tab, but you get what I'm saying. Okay, while we're looking at presets, it allows us to see what blues and pinks looks like versus warm blue versus Top Gun versus Painted Desert. We can start digging through our presets one at a time till we find something that we like. But did you know that you can mix and match these things? Okay. Some people have found out on accident, but here's how you do it. So you can click on the background or just any other layer and then double click a new preset, right? So Whiplash. There you go. Now it's created underneath it, right? So we can click away again. I'm going to go to the background and double click Warm Blue. And now I've got these three stacked, which means I can, change all kinds of things on them, like, the opacity of them or whatever. Now, what's interesting, if I click and go through them, and we go back to the Explore tab, okay, they're not necessarily all loaded in, but if you click on Whiplash, this button down here that a lot of users don't always use, Get Gradient. You click on Whiplash, you click Get Gradient, it extracts what's inside that CMX2 folder, right? If I go to Watchmen and extract, it extracts it. If I go to Warm Blue, it extracts it, right? So we can always tweak all this layering. Now, do you need to layer 15 of these folders? Probably not. But who knows what you can find and what you can explore. You come here and be like, you know what? I'm going to take that opacity down of this one. I'll go to Whiplash, load that one in, take the opacity up, go to Watchmen, load that one in, maybe take the opacity down and brighten the levels. I don't know. It's whatever I think might work for the look I'm after. Or I don't know what I'm after, but I want to explore. So just remember that. You can come to your presets, double click one. There you go. Then you click away and you can double click another one and you can start layering and stacking these. Now, the settings in Explore that you were on, like you notice I reduced it to 13% a minute ago, that's kind of where it stayed, okay? We have to remember that. So it's active. I'm going to reload now CMX Gradient 2. I'll increase the opacity of that one. Go to blues and pinks, reload that, increase the opacity of that one. And this layering concept, I've been using more and more, and some of our users are using this layering already, and they're digging it. And they're giving us feedback of what they think they like and how we should handle layering. And this layering of presets is something that we've been working on and talking about for not just CMX2, but for other panels that we're working on as well. And so if you guys have any feedback or thoughts on what you think you want to see in terms of that functionality of layering, please let us know. We always love hearing what users are doing and how they might prefer that we make changes to the panels for things like that. So it could be cool. But for now, definitely know that if you just click away and go to a new gradient, you can add it. Okay. Keep in mind too, you can also do that by clicking away, extracting a new palette from another image, and then applying it. It'll also add a new folder. Just keep that in mind. Try the layering. It's a great way to explore color. Even if you don't want to, one last thing actually, if you don't want to go in here to the Explore tab and modify the details, okay, you can just sort of pile on a bunch of them. Okay, pile on a bunch of them, which is probably too much right now. But then right here, you don't even have to go back to Explore. Right here with all these folders, let's say I highlight them all, I can make them all 50% opacity and scale them down, make them all 40% opacity, make the Watchmen 70% opacity, make the Royal Tenenbaums 80% opacity. If you have this in a logical way that makes sense for you, whether it's something with warm shadows and something with muted green tones, I don't know, you can mix and match. There's just so many ways to explore color with NBP tools in general, but don't forget, after you've extracted a lot of palettes or even a handful, you can always layer them and stack and play around, and who knows what you might discover.